Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in this morning or this afternoon. We're going to talk about Inspire, and with us we have a few of our partners who are going to talk about what they've done with using FME to solve Inspire problems. Okay, so let's see here. Oh. So yeah, so there you go, and there's our friend the lizard, who we're not quite sure who his name is, but there's rumors that we're going to have a contest to see who can figure out what the lizard's name is in Vancouver when you come to Vancouver. Okay, so okay,
Don,
so
is
who
it?
are we? Go ahead, sorry, Ken.
I was just saying, is it fair to say at SAFE we provide a great tool for Inspire things, but it's our partners that do a lot of the hard work with customers, and that's kind of what we wanted to feature today.
Yeah, exactly. We just build a tool, and then we were amazed at the great things that our partners do, and having looked through, um, the whole number of stories for the user conference, it's just amazing the things that people to do. So what we'll do now is we're going to turn on our webcams here, so you all get the great opportunity of looking at this great bunch. Okay, so and then we will introduce ourselves. So I'm Don Murray, and I'm away out in Vancouver, Canada, where the SAFE office is. And from SAFE, I'm here with Ken Bragg, and Ken's somewhere in France. Where exactly are you, Ken?
Annecy, right near
Annecy,
Geneva.
France.
Yeah.
In Geneva. Okay.
Yeah.
And also from SAFE, we have Dean Hintz. So where are you, Dean?
I'm in South Surrey, so about 8 kilometers distant from the office.
Okay. You're in South Surrey?
Yeah, a little bit further west from Bulgaria.
Okay. Okay. And from the UK, we have Adrian Porter. So where are you, Adrian?
Oh, Adrian's muted, I think.
Oh, is he? Do I have to unmute him?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Hi,
can.
Adrian.
Hi there, yeah, I'm back again. I'm here in a very cloudy Cambridge at the moment in England.
Okay, good. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks for taking the time to do this. From Sweden, we have Anna Halvarsson.
Hi there.
Hi, Anna. So where exactly in Sweden are you?
Oh, I'm up in the very north of Sweden, in a town called Luleå.
Oh my goodness. So is it light there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Days are short still, or they're getting longer, I guess. It must almost be the same amount of hours of light and darkness now. And from Europe, we have Mark Doran and Soren. How do you say your last name, Soren?
Hi, Dupke.
Dupke. I knew I was going to mispronounce that. So.
Don't worry.
And you guys are in Münster?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Hello from Münster.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to turn my webcam off because there we go. So you're going to you'll see me at the end, so don't worry. Okay. Phew, that's better. Okay. So so the couple of things here, we're going to spend just a couple of slides going over SAFE and FME, like super high level, because the really exciting part of the presentation is the great work our partners are doing. And so the first one is simplifying Inspire schema mapping challenges, and that's Conterra. And so they're going to look at schema, format, and different web services all around Inspire. And that's Mark and Soren who are doing that. The second one is QC of Inspire data, and that's Metria. So Anna's going to talk about standards, quality, and metadata. And last but not least is reading land registry Inspire data, RIP, zip, and ship. And that's going to be Adrian. Then we'll have a bit of a wrap-up where we'll turn on our webcams again, we'll answer questions, and yeah, and so that's what it's going to look like. So, okay, so let's get started. So, okay, yeah, while we're going through, you can please do submit questions. We're going to look at those at the end, and we'll actually also, when we'll have an answer chat where we'll pick people and we'll unmute your mic and you can answer the questions live. So we're going to go with a live panel type question answer period at the end. We're going to try that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And okay, so now Safe Software, what do we do? Well, we build a product called FME, and it's all around connecting to different data sources and transforming the data and moving it to wherever you need to move it to, and also all around automation. So when you think about Inspire, one of the big things with Inspire, of course, is getting data into the GML schema of Inspire, and of course the data comes from many different sources. And so the challenge there is how do you get this data into your GML for distribution? And we have desktop products. That's where it all starts. You can do everything on the desktop, author and run. And then we have a server product where you can deploy that to the server to distribute across the enterprise. And then last but not least, we have the same server product which you can run, which we host in the cloud to give you cloud services, so then you can easily take all the workflows you've built within an enterprise and push those to the world at large. So that's in a nutshell what we do. And you can see all the different types of services of data there: CAD, raster, point cloud, 3D, etc. And so with FME, it really is the full type. It doesn't matter what kind of data you have. So when you look at Inspire, you have the original feature types, and then you also have Annex 2, Annex 3 that hit on raster, 3D buildings, and things like that. And of course, FME is well suited to those because we also work with that type of data as well. So yeah, and of course XML. Everybody knows I love XML, and that's one of the good reasons why I love Inspire so much, because of course, as we all know, GML is XML, and yeah, so that's it. Yep. Want to add anything, Dean or Ken?
I just gave away my last XML T-shirt, Don, so I think we're going to have to get another run of.
We're going to have to order some more. That's right. So yeah, they were a huge hit, and so still, if you have any GML or XML challenges, please do send them to xml@safe.com, and we'd love to take a look, and we'll help you with your problems, and it also helps us get better too, because of course the more different and weird XML files that we get, the better, as we're constantly working to make our technology better, easier to use, and many exciting things yet to come. We're definitely not done when it comes to the XML and GML front, as Dean, who is located right across the hall from me at SAFE, knows. We talk every day about what we can do to make XML better, including yesterday, right, Dean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all sorts of gnarly stuff that we're doing with XML these days, so
yeah,
we'll never know what's around the corner.
Yeah. And yeah, so FME for Inspire, we work to be a technology that addresses all aspects of Inspire. So from a user perspective, as more and more Inspire data gets out there, of course, consuming this data and being able to use it easily is a big thing that we work at FME to do. Schema transformation. This, of course, is the hard problem that you need to do as you're building and distributing data in Inspire schema. Just getting the data into the Inspire schema can be a challenge, and we continue to work at that. And Contera is going to talk a lot about that. Publishing to Inspire, we have with FME 2014, the GML writer now is much improved, leverages the information in the XSDs in the product, actually really help users take their data and generate GML, and it's only going to get better in 2015. And then, of course, we like to talk about the complicated stuff, but in Annex 2 and 3, there's raster, and so we do that as well. Buildings, city GML, lots of different things like that. The aeronautical, so there's lots of different types of data that we do there too. So we want to make sure that people realize that, hey, whether you're working on Annex 1, 2, or 3, FME can handle all those different data types. And if you're working with buildings, one exciting thing in particular is we now read Revit data, so as one of the data sources. And of course, web services. We're continuing to work on our making it easier for you to use a workspace as a web service broker. We're going to be talking about that in the future webinar, as well as if you come to Vancouver, you're going to see more and more about how you can do that as well. So you can actually build a WFS, for example, as a workspace deployed as a web service broker. Okay, and with that, we will pass this over to Mark and Soren at Conterra.
Hi. Hi. Okay, so let's see if we can change this. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I already the presenter? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, we want to show today some success stories from Conterra. So we developed the Inspire Solution Pack for FME, and we used this extension for FME as a partner or as an end customer product to harmonize Inspire data and to harmonize source data from every source. And we are not able to talk about all of the success or stories or projects, but we will talk about one specific one today. But I just want to give you an overview that we have projects on every organization level. So starting with the European Commission down to local authorities and local cities, which are really or nearly have the same requirements. And we do data harmonization projects for all of the Annex 1 topics, and we are now starting with Annex 2 and Annex 3 topics. So this is an overview about some projects we did, and I had to analyze a little bit the customers, but the more important part is the efforts we need to harmonize data. And of course, it depends a little bit on the topic and on the source data, how complex the schema mapping part and the schema harmonization part is. But you can see that we can start with the project with 2 days to make a workshop and create a prototype together with the customer. And it ends up at around about 15 days to do the whole mapping together with the customer. So the general approach is that we will focus today is the Inspire data harmonization part. And so we read from different information systems and existing databases. With FME, we have an ETL process which harmonizes the data, and then we write into an Inspire geodatabase, which is a template from ArcGIS for Inspire, or we can write into Inspire GML. This is possible with the new FME 2014, which has the great opportunity to write GML directly, this complex Inspire GML, which was a little bit complicated in the years before with the older FME versions. So the Inspire Solution Pack, for the development of the Inspire Solution Pack, we had 3 main goals or objectives. The first one was design an Inspire schema mapping as simple as possible, and we want to use FME as a standard functionality and the FME workbench. And the third goal was to extend the FME workbench with specific Inspire information and specific Inspire functionalities. So the general workflow is that we open the Inspire workbench template, and we have a template for every annex topic of every Annex 1 topic in the current version, and we will have templates for nearly every Annex 2 and Annex 3 topic in the near future. As you can see, we use this template workspace approach of Safe Software, so you will see all the templates in an own directory, which is called Inspire. And for some of the annex topics like protected sites, we have more than one template, because protected sites in this case has a simple and a complex schema, and we support both. So yeah, how does FME template workspace work? There's on the right-hand side the destination schema of the Inspire geodatabase in this case, and we have a lot of transformers in front of. So this is the template part. The transformer are describing the mandatory attributes and the mandatory attribute values. And in the second step, we will have a mapping. So the mapping has an individual mapping, so we can read data from every source FME supports, and then we have to aggregate the features and many times from the different sources. And as we saw, in the most cases, we have to read data from many sources to write the data into one topic and one destination topic. And the second step is the predefined mapping part. So this is like a template formula that you just have to fill out the different transformers which are predefined. So the top 3 benefits of the Inspire solution packs are that we deliver more than 100 additional transformers which are describing the specific Inspire attributes and attribute values and all the relations between the object, the features. We will deliver this FME workbench templates for all of the Annex 1 themes, as I said, and we have a lot of context-sensitive help directly integrated into the FME workbench, and we will show this now. So let's see the FME workbench. We can start with the administrative units template, and as you can see, we have predefined transformers in here, and this transformer, for example, creates 2 new attributes, legal status and legal status void. And as you can see, these are the void reasons of the Inspire attributes. So if you do not, or if you cannot fill this attribute with information, you have to argue why you cannot do this. And if you want to fill this, these are the possible values which are defined in the Inspire specification. And the main question always is, what does agreed and not agreed mean? And we directly integrated this information snippet into the workbench help, so you can directly read what the Inspire specification means with agreed or not agreed. And we do this for all of the attributes. For example, administrative boundary has edge matched and not edge matched as an attribute value, and this is directly described here. And as you can imagine, in some cases we have really long value lists which are described in this, integrated in the FME workbench. So the second part of the story we want to cover very short. So this is just about providing Inspire services with ArcGIS for Inspire in this case. These are 3 easy steps, and these steps can be done by nearly everyone. You do not have to be an Inspire expert to describe this process. It's just a regular process, let's say, to publish an OGC service or an ArcGIS service. It's just another checkbox in Arc Catalog which describes that you are now creating an Inspire view or an Inspire download service out of this workbench, or out of this database which is filled by the FME workbench process. So the results are just a geodatabase which can be directly used in all of the ArcGIS tools. In this case, we see the Arc Catalog. You can do a mashup together with ArcGIS Online services in the background. You can use the data directly in ArcMap. And of course, you can use the data directly in ArcGIS Online too. So this is the first introduction into the Inspire Solution Pack. And now we will see how we use this solution in a project context from Zern.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I'm just giving a very brief overview of a project that we are doing at the moment, so it's not final now. Yeah, I choose this project that we're doing with the German Federal Agency for Nature Conservation because it covers mostly all aspects of the Inspire requirements. So we are building, we're doing the data harmonization part. We are doing creating network services. We are creating atom feeds. So let's see. So I just called the project Inspire at BFN, which is a short form for German Federal Agency for Nature Conservation, because the original title is a little bit too long for the webinar. So yeah, so what was the purpose of this project? So first of all, we had to evaluate the data models which are currently developed at the BFN for to see if they cover all the Inspire compliant data fields, if we can create the complete Inspire data sets. As part of this project, we harmonized data for protected sites and species distribution data. So most of the species distribution data is, as you can see on this image here, is maritime data, while the protected sites covered all over Germany. So we did three main parts in the project were done with FME. So first of all, we harmonized data into the S3 geodatabase that Mark just showed, where we create the WFS 2.0 network services based on ArcGIS for Inspire. Then we had another workspace or other workspaces where we create GML directly with a new approach that became available in FME 2014. It's very handy because at the moment ArcGIS for Inspire doesn't have a geodatabase template for Annex 2 and 3, so this is really helpful for the time being. And then in the last step, I want to show some workspace that we use to create atom feeds with these GML data sets that we create from a catalog web service feed and write in atom feeds directly that then reference the GML data that we produce. Okay, let's have a look. So I'm not going into too much detail with the protected sites one because that's a well-known approach that we have been using for quite a long time. So what you see here is the Inspire Solution Pack template for protected sites, basically the same like Mark showed for the administrative units. We have some target geodatabase tables, some attributes that we have to create. So the final workspace basically looks like this. Here we create a couple of different data themes for protected sites. So we have the individual mapping part here. Some of them only have very few attributes, like just a name and an ID. So that's quite an easy mapping to get harmonized to harmonize the protected sites data. Then most of the stuff happens here in the individual mapping side, in the predefined mapping side, and then the final result is written into the Inspire geodatabase. So it's nothing really complex. So this is the final result in the Inspire geodatabase. Then the second one was a bit more interesting because here we used FME 2014. We created a template for the GML writing approach as well. So this is a template for species distribution writing directly into GML. You already see that the GML writer has far less feature types. So with the creation of the species distribution mapping, writing the GML, it looks like this. The output again is few GML files that then contain the Inspire compliant GML based on the schema. So you can see here that we used the Inspire schemas from the Inspire schema repository. and most of the action happens here in the Inspire attribute mapping. So we create lots of attributes for the final GML here. At the moment, we are planning to also create some more transformers for the Inspire specific mapping for GML data in the Inspire Solution Pack 2.0. So at the moment, we used only standard FME functionality plus transformers that we already had, for example, here to create the namespace for the different species distribution data sets, or to set the lifespan. Okay, in this case, it's quite simple because we are not giving any lifespan information. We just set it to void unpopulated. Yeah, and so by executing this workspace, two GML files are written for two species distribution data sets, and yeah, that's basically it. For the last workspace, it's probably the most interesting one. We use the catalog web service to access catalog web service, where we provide basically a list of metadata IDs and the catalog URL, and then you provide the directory where to write the atom feeds. So basically the metadata looks like this. I will just show you the entry. Spire identified feeds from our metadata catalog. So I created this one before. It's kind of slow. Okay, here are the results. So this is the atom feed metadata entry that I created beforehand. Yeah, it contains some of the metadata. Probably the most interesting part is this one, where I put the coupled resource that says which data sets are connected with this atom service, and then the two data sets themselves again contain the information where to find the information on our SDE system. So what this workspace then does is it sends the get metadata requests to the catalog service. These are then processed. Some of the attributes that we need for the atom feeds are extracted for the service metadata. The same is then done for the dataset metadata, and then two XML templators are writing the atom feeds in this case for the dataset feed and for the service feed, and then are written to the hard disk or to a web-enabled directory, so that we can access these feeds from browser. For example, Firefox has a nice way to display atom feeds, where we then can browse the information and directly go to download the GML dataset, for example, and so on. Yeah, this takes a while because the dataset is quite big. I don't know if you need to see the here it is. Here you see some GML data for species distribution. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so I think that was it from me. So I will hand over to Mark again. Hope. Or did I miss something? No, sorry.
Okay. It's fantastic to see a live.
On set,
oh, sorry.
We can create different types of Inspire network services with ArcGIS for Inspire and with FME itself and FME server. So if you look at the current guidelines from Inspire, you see that the specification has changed from the beginning to now. So now it's easier from the technical point of view to fulfill the specification, because the WFS 2.0 implementation is not mandatory anymore. So we will cover this in the next version of the Inspire Solution Pack, and we will create directly GML out of the Inspire Solution Pack. but there are still other services needed, and from this point of view, we still think ArcGIS for Inspire is a really good way because it's an out-of-the-box solution for all of the Inspire services. So WMS, Atom feeds, and predefined datasets and discovery services can be published with ArcGIS for Inspire. So the road ahead, I have to say to 2020 because it's a long-term project, it's a long road, and we will change our development a little bit, as I said, and we will focus on Atom feeds and Inspire GML. So for all Annex 1, 2, and 3 themes, and afterwards you can decide if you want to choose ArcGIS for Inspire, for example, to create the Inspire network services, or if you want to use FME server for that, for example, or other technologies. So the Inspire solution pack will become more open than it is now, I would say. In general, we will have two parts of the Inspire solution pack. We will have the old core Inspire solution pack, and we will have Inspire solution pack supplement, which we will provide over the FME store. I think we will start in summer with this to create workbench templates for the Annex 2 and Annex 3 topics with the GML and the destination format, which can be used if you have the Inspire Solution Pack core installation. Otherwise, you just can see that there are some template workspaces, but you cannot use them for you. So, this is the road ahead for our development. If we focus on the Inspire solution pack in general, Conterra will focus on using ArcGIS or using Inspire services in general. So this is one of the next challenges, I think, that we have to create easy usable apps that can be access Inspire services, Inspire information, and Inspire data, for example. And this means that you first get the access to the data, and in the second step that you can download the data with, for example, the FME server in the background in usable formats like shape or DXF formats. So last but not least, we want to encourage you that you can contact us if you are still in an Inspire project, or if you plan to do an Inspire project. And I hope you could see that Inspire is not so complex as it seems if you see it the first time at the specification. So we can show you within 2 days how you can deal with FME and the Inspire requirements, and how you can create processes to harmonize the data. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention, and
Perfect.
I want to overhand back to Don or to Ken, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That was
Thank you
great,
very much.
guys. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I really like the way you guys created an Atom feed by reading your metadata service. That was really excellent.
Yeah. And I'm pretty excited about the whole Atom feed approach. For many cases, the amount of data that's being shipped down, to be honest, WFS doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, whereas the Atom feed, really does. WFS is great if you're, you want just to have a small number of features come back, but many people are distributing huge data sets, so the Atom feed makes great sense to me. So yeah, so now I think we're going to go over to Anna, and she's going to talk about quality and
There's
Inspire
Anna.
services. There's Anna. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Anna.
Oh, is she the presenter? Yeah.
Hopefully Anna doesn't have any hard feelings about a certain Olympic hockey game.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I guess not.
We can't hear you, Anna. I don't know if you're speaking or not.
Oh, she's still, let's see.
I'll mute it here. Let's see if we can. Oops.
Can we unmute her? No.
I think, Anna, you have to unmute yourself at this point. There's a little green microphone beside your name. It looks like you're, yeah, it looks like you muted yourself, so you have to click on that little green microphone beside your name. There.
Okay, so now you can hear me.
Yeah.
Now we can.
Perfect.
Excellent.
We got
And
to
that's
look
a
at that
great
nice picture
Anna.
for a long time.
Okay, yeah. I was talking and yeah. Then we start all over. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to you guys at SAFE for the Olympic gold medals. And I mean, some would say that you won because you were the better team, but actually, I know that's not the whole truth. Because since the Swedish team were having problems with their quality controls, not exceeding the doping levels for asthma medicine, the Canadian team, you know, they had this for their quality controls.
There you go.
Yeah, today I'm going to talk a bit about quality controls for Inspire data and how you can actually create efficient data flows. So I just want to start off by why are Metria using FME when we are helping our customers to be part of the Inspire? Because I think all these SDI initiatives, they are all about getting the right data to the right user at the right time in the right format. And from my experience, many times it's more like this: the water flow in this ditch. It takes a long time to get the data, and when you actually get it, it is of poor quality. And another important thing when you're working with SDIs and with Inspire is that the whole foundation is normally built upon standards, because if you wouldn't have standards, it would be impossible to agree on how to solve different things. And I just want to point out a number of Inspire standards just so to see that there are a number of them. For metadata, we're working with the ISO 19115 and also with the XML implementation of that one. The data product specifications are rather central in the Inspire directive when it comes to get interoperability. But the data product specification is also using the data quality standard to specify which quality measures you should perform on your data. And finally, you have a number of different standards to provide your data with within the Inspire services. And the Inspire data specifications specify how to provide your data. And for almost all of these, the key to implementation is XML, and it's really essential to have a powerful tool for managing XML data. I think many of you will agree on this is normally the reaction when you're within your organization say metadata. And when you ask for the quality of the data, it doesn't get better, because these things are normally time-consuming. The maintenance is quite hard. You create metadata one time, but it's hard to maintain and update the data. And this is one of the reasons why you get these not so happy faces. Metria has been working together with the Swedish Environmental Agency in a project where the Swedish Environmental Agency had some challenges concerning environmental monitoring data. Environmental monitoring data is collected on many different places in Sweden. And since you have a distributed data collection and then you want to centralize the data publication, you sometimes, or many times, get a long time from data delivery to data is actually ready to be published. And many times you have problems with data quality. The Swedish EPA also recognized that sometimes it was quite difficult to have a specified data quality demands. Another problem was also when you had poor quality, the time from the person that had actually collected the data, got the report from the guy that had reached the data, was so long that there was nothing to do about the quality. since this time had passed. They also saw that it's important to have metadata and it's important to have efficient routines to create metadata. So what we did in this case, and what was the solution to actually meet these challenges, was to create a quality control service on FME server. And what this service did was it converts the data into GML, since that's make it easy to, in a uniform way, validate the data and validate the attributes. We also added quality controls, for example, for commission, emission, depending on what type of data that were controlled. The quality control service generated metadata as an XML file. And as I said, the data set was converted into DML. This made it very easy to flow the data out through, or stream the data through a service, if you liked. And you had also, since the quality control was a service, it was also much faster to get the quality control report back to the guys that had collected the data. And I will walk you through an example in FME how this can be done based on, in this example, we will use the Inspire theme protected sites. And in this example, we are updating an existing data set where we already has created a metadata document. So what we like to do first of all is that we generate Inspire GML, and the data specification has specified the schema. And we use the XML templater when we generate the Inspire GML. This can also be done with the Inspire writer. But in this case, we wanted to have this one inside a flow where we perform a number of different tasks. So what we do is that we generate GML from the data that we have collected. And when we have done so, we start to look at what kind of quality control do we want to perform. And the Inspire data specification, all of them, has a chapter that specifies what kind of quality measures are you supposed to perform on your data set. So this one is from the protected sites. They say that we should check on completeness, omission, commission. And it also tells us how to perform the test and in what ways we can choose to present the result. So what we do in FME is that we build a test for validation of completeness. In this case, we know how many features we are supposed to have. We perform tests and get objects that fulfills the commission, that fails the commission tests. So if you have objects that have failed the commission test, we like to create metadata that describes the quality control result. Since this is the way that the Inspire specifications are telling us to present this information, and this is also in accordance to the ISO standards, both for quality and for metadata. So once again, we use the XML templater, and we create this metadata XML block that we can then use later on to update our original metadata file. And that is also the final step. So use this result that we got from the quality control, and we send this metadata XML into the XML updater And the XML updater can read the original metadata file and insert this new block. You can choose which way you like to make this update. If you want to add XML, or if you want to update XML within this original file. So basically what we have done here is we have created a quality control routine that can generate metadata XML. We have also transformed the data set into DML, and we are ready to publish our data, either through a service, or of course you can also publish the data set in an Atom feed if you like, as Contera was talking about also. And you can choose to publish your metadata to your metadata portal without having the need of a person sitting and manually doing the metadata update. In this case, we were only focusing on the quality control part. Of course, you can add date for the update of the data and a number of different metadata elements as well.
Okay.
So
there we go. Thank you.
So
Anna.
hopefully
That's
we have
great.
moved from the ditch to data flow that is a little bit better.
No, that's great.
Anna, do you have an I Love XML t-shirt?
No, I don't.
No, we'll have to get you one when you come to Vancouver. Yeah.
Oh, I would love one.
Yeah, and quality control is as Anna described there is actually one of the big uses for FME in general with all data. So whether your data you're having to distribute your data through Inspire or through just throughout your organization or for a new project, of course, understanding the quality of your data before you use it is key, and that's one of the things that a lot of people use FME for. Of course, we have special transformers in FME that are specific just to quality. The geometry validator is the one that comes to mind. So thanks for that, Anna. That's great, and
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you and other folks from Metri in Vancouver in just a few months here. So
yeah, really looking forward to come to Vancouver. So it will be great.
I'll mention it to my wife and daughter too. They'll be very, very happy to be able to see all you guys again. That'll be great.
Oh, it will be great. Yeah.
Okay, so now I think it's we're taking it to Adrian, and he's going to talk about RIP, zip, and ship, which is we've never used the word RIP before, so I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, so take it away, Adrian.
Now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Brilliant. Okay then, so I'm just going to talk to you for a little bit about a customer example or experience we've had, mainly as a result of some consultancy engagement with a company called Geodesys. They're a private arm of a utility company here in the UK called Anglian Water, and they primarily deal with looking at land property information to supplying it to their customers. This information itself, oops, what's going on there? Oh, there we go. So this information is provided by the UK Land Registry. The Land Registry is a government department which has the responsibility of registering and keep maintaining the Land Registry, which is a list of all the property and ownership information in England, Wales, comprising of approximately 23 million titles. As part of this sort of process, the Land Registry also has a number of data sets available for, whoops, sorry, that seems to have done the wrong thing there. There we go. So as part of their public data service, they are signed up as to a government scheme to provide data for public and commercial use. This public data is objective, factual, and non-personal information, which public services can be used to perform policy and make decisions upon. And as I said, this market trend data they produce is a combination of their own land registry house price index information, their own added value service, and other public data information that they've supplied. Obviously, large part of this information is obviously Inspire compliant, as this is why we're talking about it. But again, just focusing on this idea that it enables this easy sharing of information. So the particular data set that we are focusing in this example is the Land Registry's Inspire Index polygons. They're a subset of the Land Registry's Index polygon data set and comprises solely of freehold land and property registered in England and Wales. Each of these polygons has a unique identification number, the Land Registry Inspire ID, and can be used as part of a search service that the Land Registry supply to check title registration and plan information to find out who owns a piece of land in the country. This data comprises of approximately 348 different areas or regions, making sort of 21 million plus polygons, and approximately is around a 4 GB database, so data set size. So this data currently is available in two ways: as part of a download service where you can navigate to the Land Registry website, select the region or regions you want, click on a link and download a zip file of the Inspire compliant GML data. The second way to access this data is via a WMS service and an online viewer service where you can navigate to an area and bring up the information you want to see. Just at this moment, I'm just going to pop out of PowerPoint just to give you an idea of what the data itself looks like. So this is just a view of a downloaded version of the data from the download service, just showing in the FME inspector. Again, just showing you a very good example of how good FME is at just taking some data. I've loaded in, used the Inspire reader. I've not had to change any of the parameter data. I can get in straight away, start to query the data and inspect the information to see what's relevant to me. One of the sort of features of the data, as you can see, it actually comes as an aggregate data set comprising of the polygon itself along with the bounding rectangle. And as you can see, FME, very good way of initially inspecting the data and seeing the different characteristics of the information before we attempt to do anything. So having a look at the services themselves, if I just click on, just to idea what the download service itself, as you can see, you can browse to all the different regions. If you want to then select, you click on download. You can agree to their various terms and conditions and then download the file yourself. Alternatively, as I said, we can go to the online viewer service. As you can see, we have a map of the UK here, where you can turn on the various data sets you're interested in and navigate to the area of interest. Now, I've just pre-prepared one here earlier based around Cambridge just to make it a bit quicker. And as you can see, if I oh well, let's skip that one for the moment. So the idea is that you can zoom into a particular area and then start to identify the property polygons you're interested in yourself. That seems to be taking a little bit of time, so I won't dwell on that too much now. So the actual background to the project itself is the Land Registry Index Polygons dataset is updated on a monthly basis, and the customer required an automatic process that would enable them to download the data sets, associate it with some other information they already store, in this case a postcode centroid information, and then load it back into their Oracle database. This process, or the process that was settled on by the customer, was a two-stage process. So the download site itself basically provides a link to a zip file which contains the GML data, and there's a different zip file for each different region. So the solution the customer came up with was to use a VB script that called via IE11, which would go in and scrape the download data set and effectively rip the URL of the zip file out of the website. This then produced a text file which containing a list of all of the URLs for each zip file. This text file containing all the URLs was then read in by the FME workspace. So the workspace reader effectively was just a text file, so reading in all the different file locations. We then used the inline reading using the FME feature reader transfer to selectively read in the data as we need it. Now the format used obviously here in this case was the inspired GML reader. And the good thing here, expanding on the power of FME, is that it because it was reading the URL link all at the same time, it was reading each file in turn, downloading it, unzipping it, and then reading the data into the workspace itself. There were a few other considerations we needed to manage with the data, as we saw earlier when we inspected the data, due to the fact there's this aggregate data, but it was quite easy to manage. If I just flick to the workspace itself, you can actually see it's quite simply managed using an FME deaggregator. We're able to then extract out the different named geometries that we can see from the FME data itself, from the inspection, so we can see how the name, boundary by, or geometries state, so we can easily separate out the data we're interested in, and then simply using a tester to keep the data that we're interested in. Again, a fairly simplistic process to manage this. Then moving on to the next stage of the process, again, using some FME, an Ordnance Survey code point open data, which is already stored in an Oracle database. We used FME to do a transformation process to turn this into spatial data to create centroid points. Then a simple restructuring of the attributes to turn it into some information, into a relevant information postcode. Then again, a final process, just using a neighborhood finder in this case to conflate the two data sets together, effectively just transferring the postcode data onto the property boundary and then writing it out to the customer's final database. We found, sort of having spoken with the customer, they found this was a fairly easy process to set up, which but what could be considered to be a fairly complex process of remotely looking at data sets stored online, extracting the file location, downloading the process, unzipping it, reading it, manipulating the data, and then writing it out. We found this to be all holding a fairly simplistic process, and we're able to integrate it into existing processes quite well. Obviously, using the Inspire framework here, this could then be easily used to expand should they wish to bring in other data sets as part of their other process. Having worked on this process, we found we have some other customers as well, namely Fisher German, who are using a very similar process to be able to read the land registry polygons to help them identify property searches in advance, and also give them some idea of costing before they actually make the sort of claim itself. So that concludes our talk. There's some contact information if you'd like to actually investigate the UK land registry data itself or see any other FME information from OneSpatial.
That's
Wow.
great, Adrian. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I love how you used, you know, FME to effectively scrape, and then the relying on the fact that the feature reader in FME now can pull data directly from URLs. That was
yes. In fact, actually, this example in the viewer at the moment is actually reading the URL itself. So yeah. Even you know, that really fantastic functionality expanded not just in Workbench, but even just from an inspection viewing point of view. It just makes life so simple.
So here's some dates for us. So we're embarking on our world tour in April, and the first one's in Europe. Where's the first one, Ken? Do you remember?
Yeah, the first one is in Paris. You get to see me present in French, which will be exciting. Hosted by our partner Vermees, along with NSER is a co-host. So
Perfect.
That's the first one on March 27th.
Awesome.
Conterra is holding. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Conterra, you guys are holding how many World Tour events? Oh, they probably can't hear us. I think 3 in Germany and 2 in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And 1 spatial. Adrian, how many are you guys hosting?
Oh, I think around 4, I believe, sort of spread around the UK.
Yeah, there's quite a few other partner events and safe events in North America, of course.
Yeah. So
Ken, sorry, we are hosting 4 in Germany. I've looked it up.
4 in Germany.
Munich,
Thank you.
Berlin, Munich, Frankfurt, and Cologne.
Great.
But have a look at safe.com to see the nearest FME World Tour to where you are.
Yeah. And of course, we're having our International User Conference, which we don't have every year. The last one was in 2009, so it looks like approximately every 5 years, and it's in Vancouver, and that is a picture of the building it's going to be in, right on the water there at the International Conference Center in Vancouver. So we're excited about that, and that's on June 10th to 13th, so it should even be sunny. So that's what we're hoping for. And of course, you can also see Ken and Dean and Conterra, and I'm sure folks from Metri as well at the Inspire conference in Aalborg, Denmark. That's right after our user conference. So you can come to our user conference and talk about everything Inspire, and then you can go to the Inspire conference. So you can have almost 10 days, almost 2 weeks full of nothing but GML and Inspire. So that's a lot of fun.
And actually,
there.
I believe we've just added an Inspire training course to the training agenda, right, Dean?
That's right, we did.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah, we were going to add a complex XML, GML writing, and also a web services component.
And then lots of exciting things coming in 2015 that we're working on, specifically around which Dean just talked about, was the complex mapping, which is much better in 2014, but still there's some great GUI work, graphical interface work we can do to make it even much easier. So to keep in touch with the community, you can see all the different ways there. FMEpedia really is where it all starts. And you're going to find there gateways to all the different our knowledge base, our community, and follow us on Twitter at safe.com, at Safe Software, as well as at Ken at Safe, at Dean at Safe, and at Don at Safe, and like that.
So Inspire. Yeah, sorry, Don.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say some Inspire resources that are available on the SAFE site now. There's a landing page on safe.com Inspire, but as Don mentioned, there's lots of stuff on FMEpedia Inspire related. Dean's written quite a few fairly technical articles about writing Inspire GML and creating Inspire services with FME server as well.
Yeah. And please do, if you don't find what you're looking for, please do reach out either through Ken or through Dean or through myself, support@safe.com. There's not a day goes by in the SAFE office where we're not talking about something GML and XML. Dean's is right across the hall from me. Juan's right beside me. So, we're really spend a lot of our time talking about all these hard problems with mapping GML and XML, and we get very excited when we get another new problem and how are we going to solve this. So we're not done. We don't think that we've got the whole thing in the bag, but we're continuing to make it better and better, and we really need people's help to make it better.
I think because we're a bit over, let's just thank our guests and then we'll do the QA afterwards. So if people need to leave, thank you very much for attending. As Don said, I want to thank very much our guests for joining us today, Mark Doring, Zoran Dubka, Anna Halverson, and Adrian Porter. So if you want to get in touch with any of them directly, there's their contact information. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
you guys.
And as Ken stated earlier at the beginning, we really rely on our partners to deploy FME technology. So we really rely on folks like our friends at Conterra, Metria, and One Spatial to and others, of course, to really make FME do all the great things that it can do with Inspire and any other data challenges you have.